Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Conversations. Today, we are talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. As you can tell, I am not Heidi. I am Megan Ellsworth, and Heidi sends her regards. She is feeling under the weather, so I am filling in. And I'm so excited to be here chatting about Hispanic Heritage Month with all of my friends. Um, Today's Coffee Conversations is sponsored by Johns Manville, and we just really want to thank Johns Manville. Thank you, Minnie, for being here, for sponsoring such a great conversation. They are a leader in the industry, so we're glad to have them as a partner. So, before we do anything, I want to introduce our amazing panel of experts and professionals in the industry. And Eric, if you don't mind going first, just tell us a little bit about you and your company.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. My name is Eric. I'm originally born in Dallas, Texas. I've been in the roofing industry since I was about 13, since I was 18 in business for myself. And I'm involved in the industry in many ways. More than anything, I am a roofing contractor, roofing subcontractor. But today I'm here and willing to share more about Crewmaster, which is my roofing directory that's helping power the labor industry in the roofing community with a specific focus in the Latino Hispanic community.
That is so amazing. We're so happy to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next is Amparo. Can you say hello and introduce yourself for us?
Hi, my name is Amparo. I'm from Mexico. I'm in the roofing industry around 15 years now. And I feel so proud to be Latina woman on this industry. And for me, it's amazing to be on this coffee shop and share some of the experience that we have and learning from the other ones.
Yay! Thank you, Amparo. Next, Tupac, can you tell us a little bit about you and your company?
Sure. I'm from Costa Rica. I've been in the industry for 20 years. I'm a first generation, and we do commercial in the Southeast, anywhere from Texas to Florida.
Amazing. Amazing. I hope you're doing okay with Hurricane Milton right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, Minnie, can you say hi and tell us a little bit about you? Oh, you're muted. Hold on.
Sorry,
Yay.
technical difficulties there. Good morning. I'm Minnie Robles with Johns Manville. I'm the territory rep for Arizona. I've been in the industry a little over 20 years, and I love what I do. So I'm glad to be a Hispanic in the roofing industry and helping others come join us.
Absolutely. Ah, it's amazing. One last time, I just want to thank Johns Manville for sponsoring this Coffee Conversations, and let's dive into our topic here. So I would love maybe Minnie for you to start. Can you share a little bit of your personal journey into the roofing industry and how your Hispanic heritage has influenced your career?
Sure. So I fell into the industry by accident. I think a lot of us fall into the industry by accident,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad I did. So I was a single mom of a little boy, and the banking industry had taken a hit, and that's where I worked. And I was still young, so I saw that there was an opportunity to work for a roofing contractor. They needed somebody that was bilingual, that was able to communicate with their employees. So I was like, I speak Spanish, I'll be okay. And I started my journey as a receptionist at first. And it was
Wow.
very easy, with the support of a lot of people that were around me for the company I worked for, to move relatively quickly. And then moving to distribution. I think the need, especially, I think it's nationwide, but in Arizona, the need for someone that was bilingual, that was able to communicate with not just the contractor, but with employees and with the people in the industry themselves. I think being able to connect in your own language, and share the same traditions and share the same values, I think was very helpful for me, and it helped shape my career in the industry.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Tupac, do you have any insights to share on how your Hispanic heritage has influenced your career?
Yeah, well, when I started in construction, I realized, well, I wasn't a construction degree guy or anything like that. I was more finance. And I just
Mm,
happened to meet a roofer in college graduating with my last semester, and he said, "Hey, would you come work for me?" And I said, "Sure," without really knowing what I was getting into. And then I started working for his business, and I became very passionate for the roofers that were doing the work. It's a very hard work to do. Their stories are very inspiring, and I just fell in love with it. And of course, we connected because you have people anywhere from Mexico all the way down to Panama and everything in between. And these guys are truly making the things happen for us.
yeah,
At the end of the day, we're running businesses, but they're the ones doing the hard work.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Amparo, I'd love to know your take on this question. How has your Hispanic heritage influenced your career?
Well, I'm thinking so. If we see we are Latinos and we take the advance to be Latinos and know the labor side and we know how hard we work, and this is take me for me a huge advance because I always introduce myself like, hey, I'm a Latina. If they don't want to give me the job, either way, I'm gonna be in your job side because we wanna bring the crews to your home. That's one of the advances that I'm always used to be Latina to be part of the crews. If when I start my business back selling like my roofing company, because I was on the subcontractor side, I used to be Latina and to be part of the crews and bring crews to the other companies. That way they feel like, oh, okay, I choose her because she already have the best contact with the Latinos. I
Yeah.
use that part, and that's amazing. Sometimes we think be Latino that's less, but if we're Latino, we know the power of the work. That's take advance.
Absolutely. I love that. We know the power of the work. That right there is a really good little tidbit. Absolutely. Eric, how has your Hispanic heritage influenced your career?
Yes, well, I'm actually a third generation roofer. So my grandpa came
Amazing.
into the U.S. from Mexico in the 1990s and started roofing, and so it went down into the family. As we know, the roofing industry, when it comes to the labor industry, a lot of the people who actually perform the labor are Latino, Hispanic. So it was something that I grew up in, and as I was growing up, I was a person that liked business, entrepreneurship in general. And I was like, well, hey, the family business is already roofing, labor crews. How about I get in there and I learn everything that they've learned up to now? And so that's exactly what happened. And I took off with it. So that's where my impact comes from, where I already started because of my family in the industry.
That's amazing. I love that. Family is really everything. So that's beautiful. Um, so I would love to know each of your take on how Hispanic culture has contributed to the roofing industry in whole, historically and today. So maybe Amparo, you can start. And also, if you ever want to, answer in Spanish, feel free. That is totally an option.
For me to bring my Latino culture to the business, that made me feel like a family. That's something I'm
Yeah.
always pushing, and every time that I have the opportunity to talk with the other markets, say, hey, just know our culture because we are really family, and that's what we was talking before. Like the dance, the parties, we really enjoy to be like a family, and that make warm your business. Either way, if you're working on the field, you make them feel like a family. That's how you get better results. That's one of my tips that I always use, and I'm things that we bring now to our business, and my daughters we use on our business like a family.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that your daughters work for you because I work for my mom. We love family business. Um, so maybe Tupac, you can answer next. How has Hispanic culture contributed to the roofing industry, and continues to contribute?
Well, I think in my opinion, there's no secret that 80% or more of the workforce is Hispanic. And
Exactly.
for many years, Hispanics were trying to be introduced into the industry as the new generation of business owners. And I think we're in a point today that a lot of the NRCA diversification and configuration of diversity includes Hispanic women, millennials, Gen Zs, and it's pretty interesting to see what it looks today and what it used to look like, 16 years ago when I started getting involved. And Hispanics are just gaining track. I mean, there's many, sometimes, we put ads to hire people and we just cannot find anyone but a Hispanic to apply for it. And it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Minnie, Eric, any thoughts on this?
I think to piggyback off of Tupac, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So before, when you thought about roofing, you thought about a Latino doing the labor portion of it, doing the installation and doing, the cutting of the shingles, the cleaning of the job site. But we're moving up in the ranks, right? Our hard work, our perseverance, and I think the hard work that was instilled to us by our family, and by our culture itself, I think it's leveled us up to be the owners of companies, to be in the C-suite of corporate world. It has enabled us to be, a territory manager or a regional manager or a district manager. I think as the younger generation is coming up in our industry, I think we're making a name for ourselves and paving a way for ourselves. Like Eric is a third generation roofer from immigrant grandparents. I am, a first generation. My kids would be first generation Americans, but my son is also in roofing. And I think a
I
lot of
love
that
that.
has to do, he's seen where we are all reaching, and he knows that he can go a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think the Latino community, Hispanic people in the industry are getting more comfortable within the industry. And we're starting to see that, hey, the hard work that we're putting on doing the actual work, doing the actual labor, we can actually put this into the contracting side and into the primary side. And we're going to get fruits of our labor. I think the other thing that's helping a lot too is the new generations, the new younger generations who are starting to get access to a lot of the resources that are available in English for the roofing community. And so, we're deciding to bring all those resources back to the Latino community. One of my biggest drives is just to think if my parents had the access to some of the resources that I have nowadays, who knows where, I would be in the roofing industry.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think so right now is a huge opportunity for our kids like Eric's parents. I know them. And when every time that we stay together, I feel like so proud to see my daughter Eric. Like we was working so hard on different way, but now everything is on their hands now. Is the life change for them. Is more opportunities.
We're
Yeah.
setting it up for them to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah,
And I think so we feel good to be part of that, just pushing the next generation to grow on good way.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, to recognize what Amparo said, and also recognize that they, as our parents, have done a big sacrifice, and we have to take advantage of that. We definitely have to take advantage of that, and thank them for their sacrifice. And I think the best way to thank them is by succeeding in the industry.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. So kind of going off of that, how has, maybe Eric, you can answer this first. How has mentorship in the industry played a role in shaping your career, and how important is mentorship?
Yeah, I think mentorship is extremely important. I think I owe a lot of my success nowadays to always seeking mentorship. There's a lot of people that have the competition concept wrong, and I think that always seeking mentorship can help you get years ahead. A mentor really can give to you everything they've learned throughout all the years, and somebody having the proper idea, being able to identify that and being able to take advantage of that, that's what helps you advance much faster. So to me, it's always an honor to be able to have a mentor, to have somebody who's willing to share with me their knowledge. When you think of a mentor, you got to think about a book. You know, somebody probably took a year to write a book, and you come in and you can read that book in 7 days. So you're able to acquire that knowledge, and that's one of the things that we have to keep consistently in mind. How can I acquire knowledge faster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe, Minnie, how has mentorship affected your career, and how important is it, especially in the Hispanic community in the industry?
It's one of those things where you think you don't need it, right? Because when we're young, and I mean, I
Right.
started in the industry when I was very young. I was like, you know, I can do this on my own. And then I come to realize there was a lot of people along the way that kind of took me under their wing and taught me everything that they knew. Because they understood that we were the next generation, that we were the next generation to teach the next generation. So I've come to find that mentorship is extremely important in every aspect, whether it's be how to work your how to figure out your work-life balance, right? Because as roofers, we're always working. We can't drive down the street without seeing a roof.
Right.
Not only just how to figure out work-life balance, but maybe you're having trouble with a roof system that you need more education on. And I think being able to have a large network of not just one mentor for everything, but having a network of mentors for different areas and aspects of your life, I think that's extremely important in growing your career. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have great mentors, if I didn't have people that looked out for me, or people that said, hey, you know what, you're doing it this way, try it this way. And I think as we grow in our careers and the longer we are in it, looking back, we see all those people that helped us put those stairs so that we could climb that ladder.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I want to add something on that. I'm thinking so right now, the Latino community, they are changed their mind. They're looking for have a mentor because before they think they don't need to, they know everything. But now we see the life change every year. We see different movements just because we're more open to have more mentors.
Yeah, that's great.
That
Tupac,
save
anything
that
to
save
add?
save us a lot of time if we have good mentors.
A lot of time and
Yeah.
heartache, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, okay, so I'd love to hear what each of you has to say on how can roofing companies create a more inclusive work environment that celebrates Hispanic heritage and other diverse backgrounds? Maybe Tupac, you can hit this one first.
Yeah, at our company, what we do is we first of all, we recognize that we are Hispanics, right? So it's a Hispanic founder, Hispanic, a lot of the workforce, a lot of millennials and women are in our managerial positions, so that's pretty cool. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
we let them plan around those activities, and we plan around Hispanic holidays too. So if there's a holiday that they celebrate in such country, then we'll try to celebrate that too because they are important for us, and we want to keep it inclusive.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Amparo, how do you all make an inclusive work environment for all cultures?
Just we celebrate, we have to make them feel proud to be Latinos. First, if we make sure we have that culture to be proud, that's gonna help us just to integrate with another cultures. That way they can see we are Latinos and we can join our culture. But either way, we have to celebrate our Hispanic days that on our different countries because we have a different people from different countries. We have to join them. That way we
Yep.
can feel so proud to be Latinos.
Yeah, absolutely. Minnie, how, like maybe from personal experience, how has companies you worked for made it an inclusive environment?
So one of the things that obviously over the last 20 years, there's been, I have been a minority.
Right.
Not within the workforce, but within the office setting.
Yep.
And I think being able to make Spanish training manuals, Spanish brochures, Spanish magazines. I think being able to incorporate a different language in not just your safety training, right? But in your office manuals and in your guides for your C-suite. I think being able to incorporate another language into your corporate world actually helps a lot to become a lot more inclusive. I know for me personally, it was people trying to learn Spanish. They would sit there with me and say, okay, well, how do you say this? And some days I'd come into the office and they'd be like, Buenos dias, Minnie, right? So it's not just about having the manuals and saying, okay, you're a Latino, we recognize that you're Latino, we're going to celebrate Mexican Independence Day or Cinco de Mayo, right? But it's more of incorporating their culture into your everyday work life.
Yep.
So I know, these guys would joke with me and be like, "Oh, is Minnie going to speak Spanish all day today and not allow us to speak English?" So I think being able to communicate with somebody else, even if you don't know the language, but making the attempt, I think that's a big part of being a little bit more inclusive.
I
Yeah.
and to add to that, I firmly and blindly believe that in the next 10 years there's going to be a huge shift in the industry, and it's going to be a shift that's going to be Latino led.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I completely agree. We just attended the Expo Contratista and it was, excuse me, so fun. And I am actually also trying to learn Spanish. I took 4 years in high school and I'm buffing up my memory of Spanish, Espanol. But it is so true, Eric. I think that is such a good point with, especially in Nahica, Latinos and Roofing, Lira, all these different amazing organizations and associations that are becoming such a huge part of the industry. And like Tupac said, the NRCA, DEI initiatives and committee. Same with National Women Roofing, the Latina Council. Um, I completely agree, Eric. Eric, how has your company made an inclusive work environment for all people?
Um, well, one of the things that I've done in my company has been a mix of obviously, Latino because that's my root. But one of the things that I can highlight is that a lot of the people who are from other cultures that work for my company are people that I met, throughout college, high school. So you have that mix where I have that root, and I already have those people that help me out, and then I created this other route with going to school here in the U.S. Going to college. Actually, the vice president to one of my companies, she's not a Latino, so she's inclusive into my company, and I just like to be a well-rounded person, and I think it's very important for the culture to be well-rounded, especially when you're in business. You talk to all types of people, so it's good to be well-rounded, and I think more than anything, the way you can add value to your team is by exposing them to other cultures and working with other people that is not necessarily tied to their culture or where they come.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like you all said, celebrating Hanukkah, not just Christmas, celebrating de los Muertos, not just Halloween, and all these different things, really small things that your companies can start implementing today. Um, and then also, like Minnie said, having different languages in your brochures and all of your copy on your website. Um, is huge as well. Okay, Tupac. Tupac has to leave in just a few minutes, so I want to get your wisdom on this next question. Since you are such a huge part of the National Roofing Contractors Association and the DEI committee, what initiatives or programs have you seen in the industry that have successfully supported Hispanic contractors, and where can we grow? Where can we continue to grow?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I would do as to advise to somebody is get involved. There's so many people, so many backgrounds, so many potential opportunities for mentorship. And then NRCA has developed these educational programs like track and pro certification in Spanish,
Yeah.
and they're truly great products, and they're available, they're inexpensive, and they open a window of opportunity for people that are not necessarily exposed to it. So I highly recommend that just get involved in it. I mean, you never know who you're going to be sitting right next to, and that person can open a huge um, world of options for you.
Hmm.
And I attest that as a personal testimony. I mean, the
Yeah.
people and my friends that I have there today have been incredible mentors throughout my career.
Hmm. Absolutely. Amparo, I'd love for you to share about the Latinos in Roofing Universidad, um, since that is a great brand new initiative and program for Hispanic contractors in the industry.
Well, we see, we see that a lot of the Latinos, there is a huge need to have somebody that can support them, they can help them. But the Latinos, we like to take our hands and show us exactly what we need to do. But I'm being so on the Latinos in Roofing University, and we are part of the NRCA University too. And they have so much opportunities, a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of knowledge. And Tupac says something right. When you're in one of these organizations, you don't know who you sit next to. And I sit next
Right.
to Tupac, and I learned so much from him on the past event. And be part of the NRCA and the Western State. I grow so much. I grow so much and see all the opportunities they are there for over a 50, like Western State, more than 50 years. NRCA for more than 100 years. And where we are, where we was, the Latinos, searching for information, searching for knowledge, because we don't know this huge organization they are there. They already have all the struggles that we have on the past. They already passed. They already have everything there. That's what I just love to be part of this organization. And still, I'm part with Tupac with the Hispanic side to promoting and help and bring more Latinos to this beautiful organization, because we're gonna grow more. That's what I want to have, everything on Spanish. That's what we launch our Latinos in Roofing University. We do trainings every day in Spanish or webinars. That way we can really there and support the Latino community. I'm thinking so. I was need that one years, 10, 12 years ago. That was a huge impact now. But I learned so much from all of these organizations.
Yeah. Amazing. Minnie and Eric, are there any other initiatives or programs in the industry that we haven't touched on that you know of that are really trying to connect with Latino contractors?
So, I know National Women in Roofing has obviously all those initiatives. We have our DEI initiative. I sit on the board of National Women in Roofing as co-chair for the DEI committee.
Amazing.
With our new NWIR Hispanic Latinas in Roofing, our Hispanic Council, that has changed the perception a lot of what we do as Latina women in roofing. So we're not just women in roofing, we're Latina women in roofing. And I
Right.
think having those conversations and being able to talk to each other in our own language and mentor each other as Latina women, I think that is one of the most important things that it makes you feel secure, it makes you feel safe, and it makes you realize that there are male mentors in the Hispanic community that would be willing to help you as well. So I think
Yeah.
the National Women in Roofing, we are doing a fantastic job in trying to become inclusive and bring all those Latinas together.
One of the initiatives that I'm doing with my directory, Crewmaster, is I am collecting the information of all of the Latinos in the labor industry and to be able to help them find more work, more projects nationwide.
Yeah. That's incredible. I think that is such an up and coming initiative, and what a cool directory. So
Yeah,
congrats.
Yeah, there's a lot of now with technology advancing, there's a lot of new ways that a lot of these Latino laborers, Latino contractors can get projects, and so that's one of the things that I'm focused on doing, helping them be better at acquiring projects so they can stay more busy, and obviously them staying more busy allows them to grow more in the industry.
Absolutely.
Just quick plug, shout out to Lorna, who is the chairwoman for National Women in Roofing Latina Council, because she's amazing. So
She
just
is
want to
amazing.
send her a shout out.
Shout out Lorna. We love Lorna. Okay, so Tupac, before you have to leave, what is a story in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month that has inspired you within the roofing industry? Oh no, you're muted.
Like I said before, when you see these guys working, it's truly inspirational.
Yeah.
Roofing work, whether it's a steep slope or low slope, is very hard work in the summer times, uh, high temperatures in the cold months, super cold temperatures,
Yeah.
and they're out there. And we have to respect those guys, because at the end of the day, we can be the pretty faces of the company, but those are the guys that are making the difference.
Yeah.
And those are doing the hard work. And I have tremendous respect for the crews. And I get along with most of them, and I try to mentor them as best we can, because they need also some of our strengths as well. I would say respecting the labor force is one of the things that we do the most.
Yeah. I would love to ask a follow-up question, and how do you respect the labor force? What are some ways you go about showing them that they are cared for?
Okay, first of all, we do what we say we're gonna do. Most
Yeah.
of the times I get great crews that they said, hey, I work for XYZ company, and they told me that they were gonna pay me on Friday and they didn't get paid, or that they were gonna get paid, X amount of money and they only got paid half of it. And you see a lot of this happening. And unfortunately, there's people taking advantage of the workforce.
Yep.
They don't know contracts. They don't know the importance of having a written statement saying, hey, I'm going to do this for X amount of money, and I'm expected to get paid on X date. And a lot of these crews, unfortunately, are unsophisticated, and they have the good faith of doing something for something else, but on the other side, people just take advantage of them. And I try to teach them. They don't have much financial acumen, so we try to help them. Hey, not necessarily go and buy a car with a credit card, because you're going to pay a fortune in interest rates. Try to see if you can save some money and pay it cash. And same thing with trailers. If they buy a double wide trailer and they pay 30+% interest per year, and all they're being sold is on the low easy payments. And I'm like, guys, you're gonna pay 5 times the amount of that trailer. Try to save a little bit more and just buy it cash. So it's just simple stuff. How
Yeah.
we try to mentor them.
Yeah, mentorship goes back to that.
I think,
So yeah, go ahead, Eric. Any
I
stories
was
that
just
inspire you?
yeah, I was gonna say the story that inspires me is just literally the story of my parents. Coming to the U.S.,
Yes.
being able to give me a living, being able to clothe me, to help me get through school, providing me with all the resources that I needed, supporting me throughout college, and just supporting all that journey. I think that's one of my biggest commitments. My parents, and I owe everything to them, and I owe the success aside from me, ultimately, to give it to them.
Absolutely. Tupac, I know you have to go. Everyone, thank you, Tupac, so much for being
Thank
here.
you, and
Thanks
I
for
appreciate this moment to talk about the Hispanics and the Hispanic heritage.
We
Bye
love
to
talking
everybody. I have
about
to
it.
go join another call.
All right. Thank you, Tupac.
Bye.
Minnie or Amparo, are there any stories that inspire you that make you think of Hispanic Heritage Month?
Well, Tupac made me think. I was one of those years ago. That's what I try to learn. But I always have to have a good mentor, that way they can teach me, because a lot of people, they take advantage because you're there, you're working for somebody, and they take advantage. That's what I try to now help and support and teach them on the right way, how they can do the business, because I already was on that situation where people, everything that Tupac say, I was on the side. Just because you try to grow, you don't know, you don't have a manual how you start a roofing business. You don't have a manual how you be a subcontractor. You make a lot of mistakes on the past, but I'm thinking that mistakes help us like be better and support our crews, because I was one of those on one day. And everything that Tupac say, that's true. And that still happen on these days as well. I love to work with Eric because we have the same passion. We have the same struggles on our family. Maybe he doesn't have too much on his, but he know what his dad has on the past. And that's what we support our community, just because we want to let them know, hey, we are here. We already know where you struggle. Let us work together.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really beautiful. And I know we've talked about it before, Amparo, the like people taking advantage, and scammers too. Um, so brutal with taking advantage of people that with the language barrier and all that stuff. So looking out for that, and that's when mentorship really plays a part. Minnie, go ahead.
I think as Eric said, I'm quite a bit older than Eric, I'm sure. But I think, you know, my dad came to the United States, he only had a third grade education. And as Tupac had mentioned, how people like to take advantage of them. And we as Latinos, we come with this sense of work ethic, where we're not done until we're done. We are not finished with the job until we're finished with the job. And I think a lot of people do take advantage of our Hispanic community because we have that work ethic, because they know that we're not going to be done until we're done, and they're going to pay us the same amount of money. It doesn't matter how much we're working or how much we're not working or how much more effort we put into what we do than somebody else. And I think being able for us in the industry that have been in the industry for a while, that have learned those hard knocks, that have gone through those situations, that have gone through all of these things that were not good for us, if we can prevent this happening to somebody else, I think it is our duty and it is our responsibility as Hispanics and as people in the industry. I think it is our responsibility to help mentor those people that are either just coming into the country or people that are just getting into the industry. I think it definitely is our responsibility to help them guide through that, because just as Eric said, if my parents had what I have now, the story would be much different, but
Yeah.
it also wouldn't make us who we are. And it would make us work as hard as we've worked to be where we are at.
Yeah. Well said.
And it's really easy right now talking about that situations that we have in the past. But when you are in the middle of that situation, when you have to cry with on the silence, when nobody see you, because how you gonna tell, like example, or on my point, I have a really bad situation one time that I was crying. I take a shower maybe 2 or 3 times a day, because not because I want to take a shower, I want to cry, but that's the only reason that I can cry in the bathroom and just get outside with my daughter, with my family, like nothing happened, makeup ready, nothing happened, but inside I have to cry, because how I gonna tell my family, hey, they don't want to pay me, they don't pay me, and it's a lot of money. How I can talk to your family? I know I was so mental strong all the time that I have to say, okay, this is over. I'm not gonna focus on that situation. I'm gonna move on and just figure out these 3 more months how I'm gonna resolve the problem and make more money. That way I don't show my daughters, hey, we don't have money. When
Yeah.
you are on that situation, it's completely different. Right now we're
Yep.
talking and it's cool, but when you are there, is there, and is mental, is draining you. But how
Yep.
you want to tell your kids, hey, we don't want to have Christmas because this company doesn't pay me? That's why I'm here, just because I already have that situation one time,
Yeah.
and my family know months later what's going on, and everyone say, why you don't tell me? Say, what I'm gonna say, did somebody take advantage of me? No, I'm not gonna say that to you. You see me, I'm so strong, I never focus on that situation. That's what I'm feel so proud to be Latina and just working. Like right now on this storm in Orlando, I know it's gonna be a lot of companies, they're gonna take advantage of the cruise. But if I'm there, I'm gonna be close to there. Nothing gonna happen because I'm gonna be there support. Nobody gonna happen again the same that somebody did it to me one time.
Yep.
And I have
Yeah.
to keep quiet just because I just think money or reputation. And for me, the reputation was better. And on these days, I just say, you know, I did it right because money came to me just because I still say the same company, the same people that I was trust me, but that wasn't their fault. What happened? You know, I have to take my responsibility. Say, you know, I'm gonna still working and gain bad reputation is really bad. That's why we figure out money or reputation, and I'm still working. And you know, I have a great reputation on the business just because I do everything right until they don't pay me the other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And I think, Amparo, that's what makes the Latinos in Roofing University so powerful, because you've had these experiences and you're working from that prior knowledge to help educate future people starting their businesses and going into this great industry so they don't get taken advantage of. And it's so, so important. Um, I'd love to go to the next question, which is, how does representation in leadership, like how does people seeing you, Amparo, owning a company, starting an association, affect the overall inclusivity of the industry and growth of the industry, seeing Latinos and Latinas in leadership positions?
I'm thinking so just because everything that what happened on the past that made me strong and that made me just be there to support and say, hey, one of the things that I'm thinking so that's what happened. If the people see us together, they don't take advantage. That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. Let's be together. Let's join this journey because we love roofing. I'm gonna stay in roofing all my life. What I'm thinking. Uh, I'm gonna just stay together with everyone. Nobody gonna take advantage of us just because they know we are with the right people. Like example, I have a lot of attorneys. They are my friends. I have a lot of public adjusters, a lot of people they are on their business for a long time, and they know if I'm asking for help and support, there will be there. Now I feel like okay, I'm here, but I'm not here by myself. I have my whole community. We need you support. And that's how this game changed. Just because if you have right people next to you, you help a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, how does having Latinos and Latinas in the leadership level of companies affect the growth and inclusivity of this industry?
Well, like I said earlier, I think that the roofing industry is in a big shift for in the next 10 years is going to be Latino driven. So one of my goals within my company is obviously to create more Latino leaders, because that's
Yeah.
what it's going to take. Leaders are the ones that create the change, and not only create it, but maintain it. So we definitely need to put a lot more Latinos in leadership positions in the industry, and it's up to people like me, like Amparo, who are getting involved in meeting and stuff like that to find those people and guide them, lead them, and make sure that they succeed and mentor them more than anything. And I think I blindly think we're going to be seeing that. And I think that after seeing that, this industry is going to shift a lot, and it's going to shift a lot to having a lot more benefits, and us seeing a lot more Latinos win in this industry.
Yeah. Minnie, and I mean, you're in a leadership position at Johns Manville, and you kind of spoke to this a little bit earlier. Territory managers, Latinas being in the C-suite. So, can you talk to this a little bit?
So I think, we always talk about the glass ceiling, right? I think everybody talks about, getting to that C-level suite, being the owner of a company, working as a CFO, as a CEO, I think leadership doesn't just encompass the C-suite. I think
Exactly.
leadership encompasses starting Latinos in Roofing. It's starting Hispanic Council, starting a mentorship program. I think leadership from the Hispanic community is not just coming from the C-level suite or not coming from the positions of power. I think leadership comes in being able to pull someone else along with you. And I think as Hispanics, I think a lot of us are doing that. I think a lot of us are not just being leaders in our position at work, but we are being leaders as positions of, even if we're roofers, even if we are a salesperson, even if we're an inside counter person, I think we become leaders as we help somebody else grow in this industry. So as we grow, I think somebody else is able to say, I want that job. And a Hispanic has that job. I can do that job too. And I think it just opens a world of possibilities of we're not just your labor force, we're the leaders in the industry. So I
Yeah.
think that that is something that will, like Eric said, make a shift in the industry for all of us to be inclusive and everybody to have the fair shot of being in that position, not because they're Hispanic, not because they're a different race, but because they belong there.
Yes. Yes. That. That at the
Minnie,
end.
Minnie is a great inspiration for a lot of Latinas that are looking for a job, and be where she is. She inspired, and a lot of Latinas. They say, "Oh, if Minnie can do, I can do." Minnie, you're a role model for a lot of Latinas.
Well, thank you, Amparo. That means a lot to me.
That's so sweet. Yes, agreed. I couldn't agree more. So going off of that, maybe Minnie, you can start this one. What advice would you give young Hispanic professionals entering the roofing industry today?
Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. As Latinos, we have a lot of pride and we have a lot of, if I ask a question, I'm going to look dumb. Ask the question. Find somebody that you're comfortable with. Find somebody that's not going to belittle you or make you feel small because you ask a question. Ask the question. Whether it's what's a 2-inch nail, or whether it's how do you install a whole taper system, right? It doesn't matter what the question is, ask the question. Don't be too proud to not only ask the question, but to accept the help. And I think us as Latinos, a lot of times we're afraid to ask for the help. We're afraid to ask the questions. We're afraid to take the help because we feel like we're incompetent. So I think if I could give somebody any advice is ask the question, take the help.
I love that.
I love it.
Eric?
Yeah, my advice is the following. First, more than anything, is find a mentor. Success leaves clues. Find somebody who's doing what you want to do. Learn from them, study, and add your touch. When you add your touch, that's how you operate in your essence. When you operate in your essence, you don't compete. You dominate. The next is study personal development. Success comes from who you become as a person. It flows into all other areas of your life. Practice leadership, practice sales. More than anything, a lot of people, have the sales concept wrong. Sales is not about selling the product, but it's about selling yourself to reaching your goals and objectives in life, whether it's in your personal or business life.
Oh, well said. So true. I love that when you work in your essence. That really spoke to me. I think that's really important for everyone. Amparo, do you have any advice?
Advice. One of the advice that I know a lot of people, they right now they told me, but in the past, if somebody was told me, like, find the knowledge, get the right people, connect with the right people, and just learn as much as you can. Always be open to learn, willing to learn. That means a lot. If you learn, you stay with the right people, you grow.
Yeah. 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 And join Latinos in Roofing, join NRCA, join National Women Roofing, join your local councils and associations, regional associations, get involved, and make yourself heard and known, because we all deserve to be heard and known. Um, so, last question as we wrap up here. Looking ahead, we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but what are some tangible steps a roofing company or any company in the roofing industry can take to foster diversity and inclusion moving forward for Latinos and all sorts of different people? Minnie, maybe you can take this one first.
I'm
Throw you in the fire.
um, make your documentation in other languages.
Mm-hmm.
Have people that speak other languages. So shout out to Arlene, our HR generalist, our HR manager for Johns Manville, who the moment I connected with her, I connected with her. We started speaking Spanish to each other, and sometimes when you speak your own language, you're a little bit more comfortable, and it made me feel welcome.
Yep.
So have somebody that speaks their language, have all the documentation in their native language, have mentors available for them. A lot of times we forget that as companies, we need to start our own mentorship program. Yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of associations that have mentorship programs. I think every association, I know the Arizona Roofing Contractors Association does. I know LIRA does. I know Latinos in Roofing does. National Women in Roofing does. But does your company have its own mentorship program? And would that be beneficial to your employees? Not just within the company, but can you bring somebody else in? Right? Maybe one of your vendors, maybe one of your suppliers. I think that would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. And also to add on to that is um joining an association, is there a barrier to entry? Can you pay for their membership? With National Women Roofing, the membership follows the person, not the company. Um, absolutely. And if you can't start a mentorship program in your company, how can you foster that for your employees outside of the company?
Yeah.
Amparo, any tangible steps or advice for roofing companies or companies in the industry to foster inclusivity?
Well, one of the things is join all these beautiful organizations that I love it now to be part of them. Western State, NRCA, National Women's and Roofing. They have a huge opportunities, and we have a great mentors there. But one of the things that I love to share, and we are doing this just with everyone on the office, everyone that was work with us, we try to get a mentor. We try to any skills they have, we try to buy another, make them feel better, make another activity, another training. We have we have different trainers in our office, and they have a specific like sample. For example, we do the marketing, we bring somebody can be better or pay another training, that way they can be better for themselves. One day they leave my office, they're always going to remember, oh, I grow because they support me, we believe in them. But I'm thinking, so make them grow your team, that's going to be better for you and for the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I love it. Eric, any tangible steps people can take in their companies?
So I think it's important to recognize, if you're a roofing company owner, maybe you don't speak Spanish or anything like that, it's important to recognize that, as we've been saying, a lot of the work in the roofing industry gets done by Latino or Hispanic. So I think it's very important to recognize that. And I think it's also very important to recognize that the more people who are Latinos or Hispanics that you add to your company, the better you're going to be able to build connection with those people doing the work. The better connection you have, the more efficient product you can deliver, and the more your company can grow. When you cut that bridge in communication, because you have a lot of people who speak the same language as the people who are actually helping you deliver the work to your client, I think that's a way to exponentially grow. And just to keep in mind that the Latino population is growing a lot in the U.S. due to different reasons. One of them could be being considered political. So keeping that in mind, being able to notice the trends and starting to practice that inclusion is going to lead to a lot of people having a lot of growth, because you recognize the big shift that's happening in the industry. And when you embrace that shift, then your company is going to start operating in its essence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it, working in your essence. Well, I just want to share, oh, sharing the wrong screen. I just want to share and show the Johns Manville logo again and say thank you. Stop laughing at me. Thank you, Johns Manville, for sponsoring this episode of Coffee Conversations. Thank you all so much for chatting with me today. If there's anything you want to say, like a quick quip in Spanish, I'd love that. If for all the Spanish speakers out there, Eric, Minnie, Amparo, any Spanish?
Amparo, I'll let you go first.
Ok. Hola, ¿qué tal a todos? Estamos aquí y queremos compartir con ustedes que se unan a todas las organizaciones, National Women's in Roofing, NRCA, Western State, que tienen muchísimas oportunidades para todos ustedes, listas en español, así es de que vamos a unirnos y crecer juntos.
Yes. Sí.
Muchas gracias a todos por estar aquí. Se les agradece mucho que nos apoyen como latinos y líderes en nuestra industria. Y me uno a Amparo, únanse a las asociaciones que les ayuden con la mentoría, con la educación y con los recursos que se ocupa para crecer en la industria.
Para mí es un placer estar aquí y bueno, ser parte de y compartir con todos ustedes. Creo que hoy en día estamos en tiempos en una industria donde no es solo lo que sabes, sino a quién conoces y qué forma más bonita de conocer a personas que están buscando el propósito mediante todas estas organizaciones que están buscando brindarnos el propósito. Un saludo cordial para todos.
Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Everyone out there, go check out the Johns Manville directory on rooferscoffeeshop.com to learn more. Also, go check out the Spanish subsite, the Roofers Coffee Shop en Español subsite. We just launched it at Expo Contratista last week, and you can find all articles en Español, artículos, podcasts, and all sorts of different webinars that we are doing in Espanol. So please go check that out. And also, please join us for the next Coffee Conversations. It's going to be not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, October 24th, and it's sponsored by Tremco WTI, and it's talking about second chance citizens. So how to hire people that are coming out of jail and prison and looking to remake their life and join this great industry of ours. So check that out. Thank you all so much again, and we will see you next time on Coffee Conversations.